Dear seeker, in this video we will explain the spiritual side of Nikola Tesla. In the quiet moments before a thunderstorm, when the air itself seems to hold a breath, we are reminded that not all power is visible. Nikola Tesla, the man who gave the modern world alternating current, radio waves, and the foundations of wireless technology, often lived in such moments of quiet intensity. He was not merely an engineer of machines, he was, in many ways, an explorer of the unseen. Tesla once said that his ideas did not come from deliberate effort alone. They arrived, fully formed, like flashes of light in the darkness. To some, this sounds mystical. To others, it sounds like the deep workings of a disciplined mind. Yet to the seeker, it suggests something more subtle, that the human mind, when properly tuned, may become a receiver of deeper patterns woven into the universe itself. Across his life, Tesla spoke with profound reverence for nature. He did not see electricity as a dead force, but as a living rhythm moving through the cosmos. He saw the universe not as chaos, but as an intelligent order, one governed by frequency, vibration, and harmony. This vision, while expressed in scientific language, carries a spiritual tone, one that echoes ancient philosophies that describe reality as an interconnected whole. However, the spiritual side of Tesla has often been misunderstood. Many stories exaggerate or distort his ideas, turning a thoughtful, contemplative scientist into a mythical magician. In this journey together, we will walk gently between wonder and truth. We will honor Tesla's awe for the universe, while remaining grounded in what he truly said and lived. So, as we begin, I invite you to listen not only with curiosity, but with stillness. For Tesla's story is not only about technology, it is also about what happens when a human mind aligns itself with the deeper currents of reality. The Tesla we imagine versus the Tesla we can know. When we first encounter Nikola Tesla in popular culture, we often meet a legend before we meet a man. On the internet and in modern storytelling, Tesla appears as a mysterious wizard of electricity, a keeper of secret knowledge, and sometimes even a guardian of hidden technologies meant to change the fate of humanity. These images are fascinating, and in some ways they reveal how deeply people feel that Tesla touched something profound. But for a sincere seeker, fascination must be balanced with discernment. To truly understand Tesla's spiritual side, we must begin by separating what is documented from what is imagined. Tesla left behind a rich body of writings, interviews, and autobiographical reflections, especially in his work My Inventions and in the many newspaper interviews he gave later in life. Serious historians such as Margaret Cheney, Marc Seifer, and W. Bernard Carlson spent decades studying his life, his papers, and the testimonies of those who knew him. Their work gives us a grounded picture of who Tesla really was. What we discover is something quieter, yet far more meaningful than myth. Tesla was not a secret magician, nor a prophet of hidden worlds. He was a deeply sensitive, intensely focused human being who experienced reality in a vivid and unusual way. He was moved by beauty, disturbed by disorder, and deeply attuned to patterns in nature. His sense of the universe had a spiritual quality, not because he believed in fantastical stories, but because he felt a profound reverence for the intelligence behind natural law. As seekers, this is a powerful lesson. Truth does not need exaggeration. When we look carefully, the real Tesla is already extraordinary. By honoring what can be verified while remaining open to wonder, we step into a deeper, more authentic understanding of both Tesla and ourselves. Tesla's visionary mind and the inner world of images. Nikola Tesla possessed a mental faculty so refined that even today it remains difficult to fully comprehend. While most inventors sketched their ideas on paper, Tesla built them first within his mind. In his autobiographical writings, especially in My Inventions, he described how complete machines would appear before him in vivid inner detail, rotating, vibrating, and functioning as if they were already real. To him, these inner visions were not vague fantasies. They were precise, living models that could be tested, adjusted, and perfected long before a single piece of metal was touched. To the seeker, this is deeply meaningful. Many spiritual traditions teach that the mind, when quiet and focused, becomes a mirror capable of reflecting deeper truths. Tesla seemed to have discovered this through his own natural discipline. He could hold an image with such clarity that it behaved as if it were an external object. If something failed in his inner machine, he could correct it just as an engineer would repair a physical device. Tesla himself did not describe this as magic. He spoke of it as a form of heightened perception, a way of tuning the mind to receive solutions that already existed in nature. He believed that inventions were not created out of nothing, but discovered, as though they were waiting patiently in the fabric of reality to be seen. For those on a spiritual path, Tesla's experience offers an important insight. When the mind is scattered, inspiration is weak and confused. But when attention is steady, something remarkable happens. Ideas arrive whole. Patterns reveal themselves. Solutions seem to emerge without strain. Tesla's inner laboratory was a place of deep listening. It reminds us that creativity is not only an act of effort, but also an act of receptivity. When we learn to still ourselves, the universe in its quiet way begins to speak. Solitude, discipline, and the spiritual practice of attention. As Nikola Tesla grew deeper into his work, his outer life became increasingly simple, while his inner life became extraordinarily rich. He lived alone for much of his adult life, not out of loneliness but out of necessity. The world was loud, chaotic, and distracting, and Tesla understood that his gift required a rare level of mental clarity. To protect that clarity, he shaped his life around discipline and solitude. Biographers such as Margaret Cheney and Marc Seifer describe how Tesla followed strict routines. He walked at the same hours, ate in precise ways, and kept his environment meticulously ordered. To some observers, these habits seem strange or excessive. But for a seeker, they reveal something familiar. Tesla was guarding his attention. He knew that a distracted mind cannot hear subtle insight, just as a noisy room cannot hear a whisper. In spiritual traditions across cultures, we find similar practices. Monks, yogis, and contemplatives reduce outer stimulation so that the inner world may become clearer. Tesla, though not part of any monastery, lived in a way that mirrored this ancient wisdom. His laboratory was not only a place of machines, it was a sanctuary for focused awareness. However, we must walk gently here. Tesla's discipline sometimes became rigid, and his sensitivity sometimes caused him distress. Spiritual refinement without balance can turn into isolation. The true lesson is not to copy Tesla's lifestyle, but to understand its purpose. Tesla teaches us that attention is sacred. When we give it away to noise and chaos, we lose contact with our deeper intelligence. When we protect it with care and kindness, we create a space where insight can arise naturally. In your own life, this may simply mean turning down the noise, simplifying your days, and honoring moments of quiet. In those still places, something subtle begins to awaken, just as it did in the mind of Nikola Tesla. The sacred geometry of the universe, Tesla and cosmic order. Nikola Tesla did not see the universe as a collection of random events. To him, reality was a vast, intelligent system governed by rhythm, proportion, and resonance. When he spoke about electricity, waves, and vibration, he was not merely describing physical phenomena, he was pointing toward a deeper order that shapes all things. This sense of cosmic harmony gave his scientific work a quietly spiritual tone. Tesla often expressed awe at how perfectly nature obeyed mathematical law. Whether observing rotating magnetic fields, the oscillation of circuits, or the movement of celestial bodies, he saw the same principle repeating itself. Everything vibrates and everything seeks harmony. To a seeker, this feels familiar. Ancient philosophies, from Pythagorean thought to Eastern metaphysics, also described the universe as a web of rhythmic relationships. But Tesla was not interested in symbolism alone. He believed that when humans align themselves with these natural laws, great power is unlocked, not power over others but power to cooperate with the universe. His inventions were expressions of this cooperation. He did not try to force nature into obedience. He listened to it, studied it, and allowed its patterns to guide his designs. This is why Tesla's words often sound poetic. He was not romanticizing science, he was revering it. For him, frequency and vibration were not just equations, they were the language through which the universe speaks. For those walking a spiritual path, this offers a beautiful lesson. You do not have to escape the world to find meaning. Meaning is already written into the structure of existence. When you observe patterns, cycles, and resonances, you are touching the same mystery that inspired Tesla. In moments of stillness, when you watch waves on water or feel your own breath rise and fall, you may sense it too. A quiet intelligence moving through everything, patiently waiting to be understood. East and West, Tesla, subtle energy, and the language of the inner world. In Tesla's time, the world was quietly changing. Eastern philosophies were beginning to reach Western thinkers, carried by scholars, teachers, and spiritual reformers who spoke of consciousness, subtle energy, and the hidden forces behind physical reality. Because Tesla spoke so often about invisible energy and universal order, many people later assumed that he was deeply trained in these traditions. As seekers, however, we must approach this carefully and with honesty. There is no solid evidence that Tesla formally studied yoga, Vedanta, or other Eastern spiritual systems. Yet it is true that the intellectual climate around him was filled with these ideas. Thinkers like Swami Vivekananda were introducing concepts such as prana, akasha, and cosmic unity to educated audiences in the West. These ideas provided poetic ways of describing forces that science was only beginning to measure. Tesla, in his own language, was exploring something similar: energy that moves through all things, unseen yet powerful. He spoke of fields, waves, and vibrations that connect everything in the universe. When people today use Eastern terms to describe Tesla's vision, they are often trying to express this same intuition, that reality is not solid and separate, but flowing and interconnected. For a seeker, the important lesson is not to force Tesla into a particular spiritual tradition. Instead, we can see him as a bridge, a man who used scientific tools to explore truths that philosophers and mystics had sensed for thousands of years. If Eastern metaphors help you feel the depth of Tesla's insight, they can be gently used as symbols. But we should not confuse metaphor with history. Tesla's real gift was his ability to translate the invisible into the measurable, allowing humanity to glimpse the subtle architecture of the universe through science itself. Tesla's spiritual legacy and the seeker's path. Long after Nikola Tesla's laboratories fell silent, his presence continues to be felt, not only in the technologies that power our world, but in the quiet hearts of those who search for meaning beyond the surface of things. Tesla has become more than an inventor. He has become a symbol of the human longing to touch something greater than oneself. This is because Tesla lived at the edge between worlds. He stood with one foot in rigorous science and the other in deep wonder. He showed that it is possible to be precise without being cynical, and curious without being naive. In a time when knowledge often feels fragmented, Tesla's vision reminds us that the universe is, at its core, a unified whole. Seekers are drawn to Tesla not because he offered a spiritual doctrine, but because he embodied a spiritual attitude: humility before nature, devotion to truth, and reverence for the unseen forces that shape reality. He trusted that behind every mystery lay an order waiting to be understood, not through blind belief, but through patient observation and disciplined imagination. Tesla's life also carries a quiet warning. Genius without grounding can become lonely. Sensitivity without balance can lead to suffering. In honoring Tesla, we do not need to repeat his hardships. Instead, we can take what is luminous in his example: his courage to follow inner insight, his respect for nature's intelligence, and his refusal to accept shallow explanations for deep phenomena. For you, the seeker, Tesla's legacy is an invitation. An invitation to look beyond appearances, to cultivate stillness so that intuition can speak, and to approach the universe not as something to conquer, but as something to listen to. In that listening, something ancient and gentle begins to awaken, a recognition that you, too, are part of the same vast and mysterious harmony that inspired Nikola Tesla. A gentle return to stillness. As we come to the end of this journey, I invite you to pause for a moment. Nikola Tesla's life was filled with brilliant flashes of insight, but it was also shaped by long stretches of silence, patience, and inward listening. In many ways, that is where his true spirituality lived, not in dramatic claims, but in a quiet devotion to understanding the deeper order of things. Tesla showed us that wonder and reason do not have to be enemies. You can stand in awe of the universe while still seeking clarity. You can feel mystery without surrendering to confusion. In a world that often pushes us toward noise and distraction, his example gently reminds us to return to stillness, where insight is born. If there is one message to take with you from this exploration, let it be this: the universe is far more subtle and intelligent than it appears on the surface. Whether you approach it through science, meditation, or simple reflection, the act of paying attention is itself a sacred practice. Tesla lived as though every phenomenon, no matter how small, carried meaning waiting to be discovered. As you move forward in your own life, you do not need to become an inventor or a mystic. You only need to become more present. Listen more carefully. Observe more gently. Trust that beneath the ordinary flow of days, there is a deeper current guiding all things. Thank you for sharing this space of curiosity and contemplation. May Tesla's story inspire you not to chase extraordinary experiences, but to see the extraordinary in the world around you. And as you continue your path, may you walk with both humility and wonder, guided by the quiet wisdom that lives within you.